Welcome everyone, I'm the Hero and this is weird in it. So yeah, Sea Viper was added to Street Fighter 6, but she's not what we're here for. We're here for the Banshee's Sky Collab. We're gonna look at that. This came out of nowhere, and I'm recording this at like 12 a.m. and shit might get fucked royally. We'll see. I hope it won't. But you never know. Anyway, yeah. Oh shit, we're going this hard on the stuff. But yeah, I'll probably release this as like a double feature with Autogediso. Because I want this to come out this Halloween, but I don't know where to put it. Welcome to the Kung Fu Kong Villa. Yes, I read that right. Alright, during your time here, you will be going by the name of Max. Enjoy your stay. Alright, new game. Motherfucking Street Fighter sound novel. When I came to, I found myself in front of a fancy building. This is the Kung Fu Kong Villa resort. A girl, appearing as a blue silhouette, spoke to me in a friendly voice. A resort? It all came back to me as I considered what she said. Kung Fu Kong Corporation, a renowned martial arts conglomerate, runs this facility for fighters from all over. As a fighter myself, I had been invited here. We appear as blue silhouettes to hide our true identities and prevent needless confrontations between the red-blooded fighters. I'm a guest at this resort too. I go by Grace here. What's your name? She asked. My mind searched for the answer. I'm Max. Nice to see you. Fuck. I can't see. Right. I'm Max. Nice to meet you. Grace chuckled in response. Well, let's get going. The glass door in front of us gleamed brightly in the evening twilight, as if beckoning us to use it. From this moment on, I would spend the night here using Max as my alias. Alias even. A wave of excitement for what awaited me washed up my body as I pushed open the door. The Banshee and Street Fighter's last cry. That could have been integrated less awkwardly, but alright. Welcome! Max and Grace, I presume. A man of medium build greeted us in the spacious entrance. My name is William Forrest, at least, here it is. The apron he wore and his calm demeanor gave him the appearance of resort management, but he was also a guest. I've been visiting here for a long time, so they've put me in charge of managing things while I'm present. He then took a moment to explain a few things to Grace and me as it was our first time visiting. Let's go over some ground rules. First, no snooping around in others' business. Second, just because we're all fighters doesn't mean you can go around picking fights. Fighters took on new identities here in order to unwind and relax. As long as you follow these simple rules, feel free to do as you like. There's a game room and a billiard room, and the food here is quite good. William added, winking as if he had just sealed a great deal. And here are your room keys. A voice. Oh, that's a different person, whatever. Everyone just speaks like that now. A voice called from behind the reception desk nearby. A woman in an apron similar to William's stood there, smiling gently. That's Colleen. Like me, she's a veteran around here and helps out with things behind the scenes. At the mention of her name, Colleen nodded politely. A whiteboard in front of the reception listed all of the room numbers and the guests currently staying at the resort. Max, your room is 206, Grace 207. She explained as she handed us our keys. The guest rooms are... Oh. Okay, that's someone talking, right? The guest rooms are upstairs at the second floor. Southern now. They should be ready for you. But since dinner is about to be served, you can wait in the lounge if you like. Colleen suggested, pointing to the area next to the stairs. The lounge was cozy, furnished with a rustic fireplace. A large coffee table was surrounded by sofas, enough to seat about 10 people. True to its name, it seemed like the perfect place to relax and chat. "I think I wait here," Grace exclaimed as she threw herself onto the sofa. She stretched and let out a satisfied sigh. Having seen her embrace relaxation, I decided to follow suit. Crossing the entrance, I sat down on the sofa opposite to Grace. Busy with dinner preparations, William and Colleen hurried into the kitchen at the back of the first floor. "You had anything particular to talk about?" I absent-mindedly gazed at Grace. Whatever. I grazed Grace. It tasted funny. Even though her form was obscured by a blue silhouette, I could still make out the expression on her face. Her eyes, dark and deep, locked into mine, or onto mine, her smile radiating a warmth that felt both inviting and disarming. Even the way she sat, her head tilted ever so slightly, was endearing. There was no doubt she was an attractive girl. I couldn't help but wonder what kind of fighter she was. Just as I started to imagine, I quickly shook my head. I had been warned not to involve myself with others' business. Here I was, obsessing over the first cute girl I see. How pathetic, I thought to myself. 3 girls chattered loudly while descending the stairs in a line. "What the heck are we even supposed to do here?" a pretty but somewhat rigid girl asked as she left the group. "We eat as much as we want and then go back to our room to watch TV, one of Kuma added. Replied the smiling girl trailing along around jolly appearance. The bespectacled tomboyish girl in the middle rocked her shoulders in exasperation. "Might as well get some use out of the TV after Debbie was so annoying about getting a room with one." "I said I was sorry, Molly," Debbie responded apologetically, absent-mindedly practicing her sumo as she did. "I don't want to miss the sumo tournament, that's all." "Honestly, why would you waste your time here watching TV?" Pretty girl responded, furrowing her eyebrows. "There's no reason to get so angry, Tiffany," Debbie exclaimed. Suddenly, Grace asked me softly, "All 3 of them are pretty cute, huh? Which one would you choose?" I faltered. Was she talking about as a sparring partner or a date? You'll queue up Gigantic OTN. Oh no, not even Gigantic plus Banshee. That's the one we're looking for. Unsure, I hesitated before responding. Well, let's see. Who do we think these could be? The tomboyish Molly could be Sakura. Debbie is Hinako from fucking KOF. She just is. Tiffany could be anyone, really? Maybe Karin? I prefer someone like you. I'm not creepy. You've got a type, huh? Grace joked as she squinted her eyes playfully, knowing she was getting a rise out of me. Getting a reset out of me. She was exercising demon reset out of me so she could go join the Persona forecast. But you know, that's not allowed, right? You can go around picking fights, remember? Oh, you meant as a sparring partner. That's right, we're all fighters here after all. What do you think I meant? Oh, I mean... My response trailed off so awkwardly. Whatever, sometimes I'll add words. I'm sorry. It just comes naturally with being a shit and not reading. Suddenly, the sound of a car engine broke the silence. It continued to grow louder, then came to a stop. It was him, Fat Man No Legs. Yeehaw! Here at last! A middle-aged man with broad shoulders, a rugged look, and speaking in a distinct southern accent stormed in. And then there was his wife, a delicate woman with a fragile, almost melancholic aura accompanying him. The Buchanans! I can read. It's Bull Buchanan. Welcome, Buchanan. William raced out of the kitchen to greet them. How was your trip here? Well, the car held up okay, but the roads were rough once it got to snowing. Glad we made it here before everything froze. As he spoke, we could see that small flakes of snow were now contained in the blowing wind outside. The cuckoo clock on the wall by the entrance squawked even 7 times. It was already 7 p.m. William, shall we start serving dinner? Asked a petite woman who approached from across the room. She was dressed in a work uniform, suggesting her position was to help around the resort. Ah yes, Abby, please if you will. Abby replied with a cheerful uh-huh, and led us to the dining hall. Oh yeah? She was secretly Benjo. The dining hall was spacious, filled with tables covered in white cotton cloths, each one evenly spaced apart. The trio of girls from before and the Buchanans took their seats at their respective tables. It seemed everyone assumed Grace and I were a couple, as we were seated across from each other at the same table. I can't wait! Grace smiled across the table, her eyes shining. Yeah, me too. Seems like the food here is pretty famous. I added as she tilted her head slightly in response. It's not just the food, she said with a smile. I get the feeling something's about to happen, don't you? About to happen? Like what? It feels like we've all come here and become people just a little bit different than our usual selves. For some reason it feels like we have a part to play. A part to play? I looked over at William, who was preparing at the kitchen counter. You mean like we'll start helping out at the resort like William? Yeah, something like that. Grace replied while nodding. I think being with you is also part of it. Something might happen to us together. The thought that I might have a greater purpose here made a fresh wave of excitement wash over me. I grinned, a grinny grin. Okay, Capcom got the assignment. Capcom understands. They know. Okay, do I go full in with the fucking weirdo creepy sex pervert characterization or not? I forget if I did that in Otogiri so. I don't think I did. That must mean your part here is to guide me, I guess. I'm slowly turning into Duke Nukem. Or a deep approximation of him. Who knows? A mysterious smile curled on my lips. Before I realized, dinner had come to an end. I was so focused on chatting, I barely noticed the food. Nothing better than a cup of tea after a meal. A man approached our table. With his sleeveless shirt showing off his beefy arms, he carried 2 cups filled near to spilling. He set the tea down, half of it spilling onto the table, and then gave a thumbs up with his calloused hand. Everyone says I make a killer cup. He introduced himself as Bobby. Okay, sleeveless shirt, big muscle, calloused hand. Could be Zangief, could be Balrog. Well, you know, Zangief could be sleeveless considering he wears no shirts, but... I feel like I'm forgetting someone that this could be. Whatever. Hi, Cabby. He helped out around the resort. Nice to meet ya. He left out as he slapped my back and chest. I choked. I figured it was a friendly gesture, but honestly, it hurt. He seems he didn't quite have a sense of his own strength. Despite most of it spilling, the tea was still refreshing. I set the cup down and suddenly caught a scent in the air. That smells good. What is that? As I searched for the source of the aroma, my eyes landed on the man at the corner table, casually tilting his cup. His hunched posture seemed oddly suspicious. Over there, that's John. With a G. Abby said quietly as she came to clear her table. I believe he's adding a cinnamon to his tea. He always spices it up. Words. The resort boasted an array of tea options, where adding milk and lemon was only the beginning. Shall we? Prompted by Grace, we left the dining hall. As we passed by the entrance, the girls from before were making a fuss. It was outside our window. Oh right, I'm a different person. Molly exclaimed as she furrowed her brow in confusion. Fuck, I cracked myself up with the idea of someone going, oh wait, I'm a different person. It hung normally, whatever. I'm sure it wasn't there before dinner. Maybe I did in dismay. I made sure the door and windows were locked. Tiffany chimed in, bristling. Please calm down, there's no need to worry. You found this outside your window, you say. William was holding a piece of paper in his hand. Intrigued, I leaned in to take a closer look. The following was written. Tonight at midnight equals D. Tonight at midnight D. Some letters were partially faded and nearly illegible. Yet, for some reason, I felt like I could read them. Tonight at 12, someone will dance? Doesn't this say someone will die at midnight? Yeah, let's not be stupid. Doesn't this say someone will die at midnight? What do you mean someone will die at midnight? That's so scary. Never panicked, putting her pudgy hands covering her mouth. This must be a joke, said Tiffany harshly. She looked at me with a hard stare. Cornered, I held up my hands defensively. Someone will die at midnight. I don't even know why I interpreted it that way, or why I insisted. It was like a strange sense of deja vu, like this had all happened before, or maybe it's all predetermined, like an endless cycle and it would all happen again. Good meta commentary. I mean, yeah. What's going on down here? The Buchanans came downstairs and joined the conversation. Chase took the paper from William's hand and snorted, Who the fuck is Chase? They stuck this to the second floor window without no ladder or nothing. They must be out of their mind. Apparently, the window in the next room was too far away to reach us by hand. The wind must have blown it in from somewhere and got it stuck up there. He had a point. That was indeed a possibility. Chase turned toward the girls, who were looking upset, and flashed a grin that revealed the shine of his gold tooth. Now you gals better turn off those frowns upside down. Yeah, whatever. You hear? They have taken too much moonshine into my quarters. Whether true or not, he's drunk a lot of moonshine. Whether true or not, Chase's swaggered speech lightened the mood, leaving everyone feeling a little less tense. The girls headed back to their room as they muttered, while William returned to cleaning up. For some reason, I found myself sitting down on the sofa in the lounge with the Buchanans. Thanks for calming everyone down back there. That's what I'm here for, friend, Chase said with a smug expression painted on his face. Well, I might not look like it, but I'm the head honcho of a big old team back home, and when you're leading, you can't let the littlest problem slide, you get me? He gave off a somewhat shady impression, but maybe there was more to him than meets the eye. Chase leaned forward as I couldn't help but be impressed. Someone like you, youngin', I can whip you into shape and make you something real special. I gulped. Really? You're damn straight, I can. Join the team, train up a bit. You'll be a hotshot, lick at a spit. I wasn't sure what kind of team it was, but the idea of being a leader sounded pretty cool. Chase continued pressing me. How about it, Max? Wanna join me? I considered for a moment before answering. Nah. Sorry, I don't think so. I couldn't agree with something I knew nothing about. I apologized and declined. Ahaha. Okay, that's just how she laughs now. Amber Buchanan laughed. I must apologize on behalf of my husband. He always gets like this whenever he sees someone he thinks he can use. Come on now. Chase's face tensed up like he just sucked a lemon. Huh? Grace turned her gaze towards the window and let out a noise. I think a little animal just ran by or something. I also glanced over. The snow and wind were picking up outside. A flicker of light reflected off the landscape outside. The headlights of a car outside. That's not an animal. Seemed like a car. Outside. The car drew closer and the entrance door opened outside. Hello everyone, it is I, the one, the only, Jonas Fabergé, here to dazzle you with my presence this fine day. This is Rashid. Yes, this is Rashid. A man with a thick beard shouted loudly. In one hand, he carried a long stick with a camera attached to the end of it. It's a gimbal. Must be one of them influencers, Chase questioned under his breath. Meanwhile, Jonas kept on talking to his camera. The man known as Jonas twirled in place as he spoke, catching himself from all different angles. Yes, it's very obviously Rashid. He was clearly recording a video. Excuse me, sir, William proclaimed as he rushed over. Could you please refrain from recording in the lobby? You need special permission to do so. The tone in William's voice was more stern than usual. Ah, sorry, my man. Jonas shrugged and quickly put his camera away. When he finished his check-in, Jonas walked into the lounge without a hint of shame. Watch out, coming through! His tanned face looked tough, but the grin on his bearded lips seemed rather shallow. He plopped down next to Grace without even instant. Call me Jonas. My channel is called Fight It. I do vids and streams. You probably checked out my stuff before, right? His Fight It channel, as the name suggests, hosted footage of battles between fighters. I've fought all kinds of opponents, beefhead wrestlers, you name it. Jonas bragged, clearly proud of his accomplishments. But fighting is against the rules here, right? For a moment, I thought I saw Jonas's eyes narrow. But just as quickly, he returned to his usual lighthearted tone and continued talking. Of course, this is a place for fighters to chill, you know. Random fights, totally off limits, I get that, but... He leaned in and lowered his voice as if sharing a secret. But we're all still fighters. I've heard of some gnarly stuff happens on the down low. Interesting. Maybe this place wasn't all tea and biscuits after all. Jonas flashed his sly grin and continued. Plus, there's other rumors about this resort. Jonas stroked his beard, letting silence linger. Ever heard of the Banshee? It's a freaky creature with sharp blades of wind that can, slice people up. A creature said to live in the woods. Oh, that's not a quote. A creature said to live in the woods, the Banshee. I'm glad that this is still a problem. It was a local folktale around these parts. It lurks in the woods with its long, knight-like nails. Man, the wind's going tonight. Perfect Banshee weather. Jonas said as if he was telling a ghost story. I gulped. I love gulping. Have you come here to film it? I asked. He shook his head. Nah, I'm just here to vibe like everyone else, but hey, if I catch something cool, I got my camera. Please, let's keep the filming to a minimum. William interrupted, his tone firm as he appeared seemingly out of nowhere. Right. Jonas replied, scratching his head awkwardly. The conversation shifted to getting drinks, but I stood up alone, quietly, excusing myself. To be honest, I'd been fighting the urge to take a leak. The bedroom was just down the stairs. The Banshee. Sounded ridiculous, but in a place like this, with the storm raging outside, I'm not sure I'd be so surprised if something really did pop out. As I was taking care of business, a chill ran down my spine. And that's when I heard something. The AC unit was turned on! A scream so haunting, it seemed to come from another world. What was that? I panicked and burst out of the bedroom. I wasn't sure, but I had a feeling it came from the game room. As I nervously made my way down the hallway, a shadow suddenly appeared in front of me. Whoa! I gasped in shock. Gasped in shock. I can speak. Sometimes. It was Bobby. He was panting heavily, clearly flustered. Bobby! I heard a scream. He responded quickly before I could say anything else. Yeah, I heard it too. From a billiard room, I think. Bobby's finger pointed at the far end of the game room. What was that just now? Did you hear it too? William appeared, rushing over. Bobby's voice rose as if to will William to move faster. Perfect timing, William. Do you have the key? The key? The key to the billiard room. For some reason, the billiard room was locked, and William was the one responsible for hoarding the resort's keys. Bobby was apparently aware of this. In fact, he had just been going to find William to get the key. Are you sure you heard the scream from in there? William asked, stopping just in front of the door. Bobby nodded in response. I could see the lights flickering inside through the frosted glass window. I'm opening the door now. William pulled a set of keys from his apron pocket. He released the lock with a small metallic click. After a brief pause, he turned the doorknob. We stepped through the door, carefully and with hesitation. The flickering light made it difficult to get a clear sense of what was inside. The room looked normal, with the large billiard table standing in the center. We nervously huddled together and walked around it. And there, behind the table, we saw it. Nice! Cool. Eek! I couldn't tell if the pitiful scream had come from me, Bobby, or William. It was likely that all three of us had yelled. What we saw was beyond words, an unspeakable sight. A dead body, twisted. Laffy Taffy. The man's body lay twisted on the floor, unnaturally. His face was turned behind his back. Okay, that's not true, but yes. His wide eyes staring blankly into the void. Every part of his body was contorted, like a rag that was wrung out. It looked as if the blood-curdling scream we had heard had been wrung out of him by force. Hey, it's John! William muttered in a trembling voice. Who's John? Bobby, his face drained of color, shook his head silently. We couldn't bring ourselves to look any longer and slowly stepped away from the body. After a long pause, William finally spoke. Let's leave him as is for now. Not contaminating the scene seemed to be William's priority. That's another quote, whatever. We shouldn't touch anything or leave fingerprints behind. What about the back door? I pointed to it and asked. It was left wide open, battered by the wind, rattling violently. Evidence could be lost if we didn't do something. Yeah, let's close it. William said, as I shut the door. I grabbed the knob, using the hem of my shirt, and locked it with a twist. We left the room and locked the inner door behind us. Now no one could enter the billiard room. Should we call the police? Bobby murmured in a hoarse voice. and William responded, "Yes, let's go upstairs and call him from the reception." We return to the first floor and William gathered all the guests in the lounge. He tells them something has happened, but to stay calm. He then walked over and grabbed the phone at the reception desk. "What in tarnation? Tell us what's going on." The questions came pouring in as I gestured with my hand, signaling to calm everyone down. After taking a deep breath, I spoke. "Someone has died at midnight." "Died? What? Oh no." Wait, sorry, how do I channel Knuckles? "Oh no." There you go. That's good enough. Everyone reacted in shock. Bobby, usually so confident, was trembling, and the tremor in my own voice made it clear that this was no joke. I spoke slowly, recounting what we had seen. The person who had died was likely John. The inner door to the billiard room had been locked. The back door, leading outside, had been left wide open. "Are you saying it was murder?" Jonas asked, sounding serious. "Could you have been mistaken?" Pauline inquired. She spoke as if she was trying to will that to be the case. I shook my head. I became the unnaturally twisted body. His neck twisted around to the back, his empty white eyes staring vacantly. The entire body was twisted like a rag, as if someone had gripped a doll and wrung it with all their strength. A hush settled over everyone. Each person struggled to comprehend the situation. I thought that guy was T-posing. "It's no use!" William's voice shattered the silence. The phone's lines are down. The storm must have knocked them out." He muttered, shaking his head with a grim expression. "Y'all could try using my cell phone." Chase stood and offered his cell phone to William. Clouded with concern. Concern even. Chase's face dropped. "What? No signal?" "That's right," William said with a sigh. "We've intentionally made sure cell phones don't give service up here to help everyone disconnect and relax. We could drive to a spot with a signal," Jonas suggested. "No, the roads are likely frozen solid," William said bitterly. "If we got into an accident, we'd be stranded. Then we'd be in Otokiriso." The storm was strengthening by the minute. The surroundings of the resort had disappeared into darkness, and the blinding snowstorm obscured any view. Venturing outside recklessly didn't seem like a wise choice. The cuckoo clock on the wall cheerfully chimed 9 times. It was already 9 p.m. "Someone will die at midnight," someone muttered quietly. I froze. Without thinking, I pulled out the note I had absent-mindedly put in my pocket. Could it have something to do with John's death? "It's not even midnight yet. Does that mean the killer jumped the gun?" Molly said, making fun of me. The bespectacled girl on the verge of tears. "This is awful. A murderer? Where did they go?" Abby's voice pitched with the panic as she spoke. Unease began to spread through the room. "I can't take this anymore," Debbie shrieked, her voice shrill and desperate. "What's even happening? I want to go home." "Calm down, Debbie." Tiffany tried to soothe her. But even her typically composed demeanor couldn't mask the worry in her eyes. "That's right, let's all calm down," a quiet voice suddenly spoke, interrupting the chaos. It was Grace. She looked around at everyone and continued. "Even if the note is a threat, the killer may have deliberately written the wrong time to distract us. There's no point in dwelling on it." She was as calm and steady as ever. The most important thing is understanding the killer's motive. If John was the target, then the murderer has probably already escaped. That was still Debbie, or whoever. Grace. Fuck. She had a point. Why would the killer stay near the crime scene? What we need to consider is the worst case scenario. Grace paused, then looked around at everyone again. I'm gonna take a sip because I've been going for half an hour and I'm quite parched or whatever the fuck. Okay. So, anyway. What do you mean, worst case scenario? Chase asked. Grace took a deep breath, then replied. That someone else here, is the next target. A murmur spread through the group. I picked up where Grace left off. If they are targeting someone else, then the killer might be hiding nearby. Exactly, if I were the killer, that's what I'd do. Grace said, nodding. Someone else? Ah! Debbie screamed again. Nothing's for certain, we're just considering all possibilities here. Williams said calmly, taking charge of the conversation. For now, let's all check the doors and the windows. Good thinking. Alrighty, fellas, follow me. Chase took charge, showing off his leadership expertise. I'm just gonna read the fucking narration normally, I think, so it's less of a strain on my voice. This is what a leader is supposed to do. Oh, that's still Chase, fuck. This is what a leader is supposed to do, he said, flashing a smug grin at the girls. Considering the situation, I decided that I should help out. Let's start from the second floor. That's still fucking William, whatever. William suggested as we gathered in front of the stairs. William, Chase, Bobby, Jonas, and me. Five of us in total. Be careful, Grace said quietly, waving her hand to send us off. We nodded and began climbing the stairs. We started checking all of the guest rooms. We opened every door and inspected inside each one. The rooms appeared in order and the windows were locked. The showers were all clear too. There was a small ventilation window in the hallway, but it was far too narrow for someone to fit through. Ain't nobody here, Chase sputtered, a hint of relief in his voice. Yeah, seems like it. Oh, fuck. Yeah, seems like it, I answered. A silent understanding passed between us. All of a sudden, a noise. It came from inside one of the rooms. What was that? It came from the storage room. Did somebody's head pointed out? Bobby pointed to the end of the hallway. Where is Bobby standing? There was a single door. That's where we keep the cleaning supplies and things. There's enough space for a person to hide. William explained in a low voice. The storage room door was slightly ajar. We held our breath and silently surrounded it. One of us had to open the door and check inside, but who would it be? We exchanged glances. Our eyes all turned to one person. Me? Oh, me? Chase whispered, his voice barely audible. The rest of us nodded in unison. It looked like the leader was going to have to lead. Dagnabbit. Chase gathered his resolve and grabbed the knob, and slowly opened it. Suddenly, a tiny figure shot out. Yeah! What's that arrow? Whatever. Chase yelped as he stumbled and fell on his backside. The figure zipped past him and dashed down the hallway. A cat! William breathed, his voice laced with relief. Oh, it's Ruby! What was she doing there? It appeared to be one of the resort's resident cats. That was everything on the second floor. including the storage room, confirmed safe. We headed back down to the first floor. For a moment, I was startled by a scream I heard from the lounge area, but it turned out to be nothing to worry about. Ruby had rushed down to the first floor, earning a squeal of glee from Tiffany when she spotted her. "Oh my gosh, a kitty!" At this point, any distraction was a good one. We continued to check the first floor. Reception, the staff room, the dining hall, the kitchen, and finally, the bathrooms. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary, and every window was securely locked. At last, we made our way toward the game room. We carefully searched the gaps between the arcade machines. The only room left to search was the billiard room. We came to a stop in front of the door. The thought of facing the corpse again weighed heavily. William and Bobby's faces were just as tense. "Yo, there's a body in there, right?" Jonas's voice quivered, yet his eyes lit up with excitement. A camera had somehow appeared in his hands as if he was planning to capture the moment. "Now wait just a moment." William shot a sharp lens at the camera. "I hope you don't intend to use that." "Of course not." Jonas quickly hid the camera behind his back. "I'm just having a peek." "No, we better not." William shook his head. "We checked everything in there after we found the body earlier. No one was around, and we locked the back door." He was right, the billiard room should be completely secure. It was best not to interfere and preserve the scene. We explained our logic to Jonas and returned to the lounge. There was no sign of anything unusual within the resort. Hearing this, a sense of relief washed over everyone. As long as the front door was locked, no one would be able to get inside unless they broke through the window. All we had to do was stay vigilant through the night, keep an eye on the weather, then head out tomorrow. We could then contact the police, and everything would be fine. These thoughts cascaded through my mind like a waterfall, until one single thought became trapped in the current. Would the perpetrator really have escaped outside? Honestly, John's killer could be any one of us. This possibility shouldn't be ruled out. I took a deep breath and spoke up. "The killer. It could be any one of us." A sudden shift in the air left everyone uneasy. It was something they had all vaguely sensed, but hadn't dared to consider. I took the first leap into the unknown. There's someone here who doesn't have an alibi. A wave of excitement surged through me. Grace had said we each had a role to play here, and this might very well be mine. I was a detective, the one that could solve it all. With all eyes fixed on me, I continued. "And that person is..." I mean, it's all of the above. It's really too early to say for sure. Let's see. Or alibi for the murder. We were taking a piss. Grace's alibi. She doesn't have one. Bobby's alibi. He doesn't have one. Jonas's alibi. He's Rashid. It's too early to say for sure. That's right. There aren't enough clues to figure this out. I shook my head. An indescribable, awkward atmosphere filled the lounge. Very well. William, who had been unusually silent, raised his voice as if he had made up his mind. Let's check around the outside of the resort. A whisper spread through the group. William continued in a calm tone. Quickly checking the surroundings should give us some reassurance there's nothing to worry about, yes? Count me in. Bobby stepped forward. It was the same group as before. I knew I should go too. Jonas also stood up, presumably thinking the same thing. Chase didn't move. I reckon I'll stay here and look after the ladies. He was likely feeling the sting of the embarrassment of having screamed at nothing but a little cat. We set off as a group of 4. At Jonas's suggestion, we decided to split into two groups and circle the mansion from opposite sides. This way we could surround anyone that we came across. We made around back. Agreed with William, I started walking alongside Bobby. We circled the other wall, going left as the wind and snow blustered around us. William and Jonas moved in the opposite direction. Despite the darkness, lights were scattered across the area, greatly illuminating our surroundings. At the half point, I turned my gaze to the forest. Who could possibly stay out here in conditions like this? It seemed unthinkable. Just as though the thought crossed my mind, a scream got through the air. Bobby and I looked at each other in worry. We ran toward the back of the mansion. I hurried forward, glancing around but the pelting snow stung my face, making it hard to see. As I turned the corner, a figure suddenly appeared. Ah! I didn't even have time to react. The figure lunged forward. Oh shit! Gameplay. Seems like Bobby. Ooh. I'm using Sagat's fucking moveset shit. I don't play Sagat. I don't Sagat. I just forgot to change shit because I didn't think that they would do a Banshee's Let's Cry DLC. Pre-DLC thing. Tiger. Did you know? Tiger? You fool, the classic Sagat. It got you. In the heat of the moment, I somehow took my opponent down. I knelt down, unable to believe my eyes. William? The figure that had lunged at me. It was him. Groaning, William spoke in broken sentences. He explained that he had been suddenly hit from behind during his patrol. And right after that, I ran into you. He had mistaken me for the one who had attacked him. It was simply the result of poor visibility. Was the one who hit you the murderer? Was it Jonas? Bobby asked, nearly frozen with surprise. Where is he now? The storm grew fiercer, cloaking everything in an icy veil. Jonas, are you out there? Bobby's scream echoed into the void, his voice a desperate plea, but the wilderness swallowed it whole. William fainted and only silence remained. Jonas's absence was unsettling, but considering the situation, looking for him would be futile. We should get him to safety, I said, and Bobby nodded in agreement. Together, we lifted his limp body and made our way back to the entrance. I hope we find Jonas's dead body. It would be so cool. Jonas went after William and then Max just knocked him out clean. What in tarnation is going on here? I laid William down in the staff room and went back to the lounge only to find Chase waiting there, words eager to approach me. We're not entirely sure. Jonas may have been the one to hit William, and then, because of that, we ended up fighting by accident when we ran into each other. I mumbled, struggling to explain. This ain't making a lick of sense. Chase's expression remained unclear, his confusion evident. The others in the lounge were looking uneasy too. I didn't blame them, a lot had happened. As Bobby and I kept explaining, everyone began to piece together what had actually happened. So, you're saying Jonas did it? I shook my head to indicate my lack of confidence. If Jonas did the attack, William attack William, then there must be some kind of reason why. It wasn't clear if this was all connected to John's murder. Either way, Jonas had seemingly vanished into thin air. There was nothing more I could add. So, did you figure out anything else? Grace inquired. She was expecting me to evolve in my role as the detective. Wow. I tried to think hard, wanting to meet her expectations, but I couldn't even get a fucking sentence out, clearly. Now that you mention it, we found the Banshee. That freaky thing Jonas was talking about? Oh, whatever. That was Chase. Chase asked as I know that it not in response, turning to face everyone. The strange creature that slashes with blades of wind, and I now knew the creature's true identity. The Banshee is. Okay. You know what? I think I'm too tired for this. So we'll continue from this point on. Assuming that that's a thing that I can do. Yes. Yes, continue. Okay, it works like actual whatchamacallit. 15 endings! They full on made a fucking Chunsoft sound novel. Thank you, Capcom. So yeah. Oh, we'll come back to this and I will have time to continue. But I'm slurring my words a bit too much for my liking, so it's probably not a nice thing to listen to either. So yeah. See you in a sec for you. For you? I now knew the creature's true identity. The Banshee is... Ectoplasm. Ectoplasm. That's right. As you know, many of the world's strange phenomena are caused by ectoplasm. The Banshee is no different. No one challenged my statement. That meant they accepted it. The truth is out of this world. I puffed out my chest, feeling triumphant. All of a sudden, another scream echoed through the air. Huh? What the? No way. Everyone erupted into a flurry of confusion. Tension was etched on every face. The scream had come from downstairs. A sinking feeling told me it was coming from the billiard room once again. Let's go check it out, I said to no one in particular, then took off briskly. Bobby and Chase followed close behind. We stopped in front of the billiard room. Up until now, there had been no sign of anything unusual. Not here again. I felt a sense of deja vu from the flickering lights through the frosted glass as I reached for the door handle. And then I noticed. Where's the key? Of course, William has it, Bobby responded. Did I go get it? No, we ain't got time for that. Chase's voice was sharp. He was right, we couldn't scare a second. We couldn't spare a second. As well. It's just a dang wooden door. Break it down. Chase explained, busting it down sexual style. Bobby kicked the area near the handle with all his strength. The hinges of the door whined as the lock snapped. The door swung open. We charged into the billiard room. At first glance, everything seemed unchanged. There were no signs that anyone was hiding inside, but to me, there was something different. It was the smell. It was a smelly smell. The overwhelming scent of something burnt. What is that smell? With a growing sense of unease, I circled around the billiard table in the center of the room. I didn't want to see the twisted, grotesque corpse again, but I couldn't just leave it be. And sure enough, there it was. Ah. The stench of burnt flesh wafted into the air. The body was severely charred, burnt beyond recognition. Ah, what the... Bobby recoiled at the sight of the body covering his nose. The corpse, twisted in agony, as if it had collapsed in pain, was still smoldering. The nightmarish sight nearly made me gag, the bile rising in my throat as I struggled to hold it back. What the hell's going on? Chase asked. He turned away to avoid looking directly at the body. I knew how he felt. I too wanted nothing more than to look away. Well, culprit ain't here. Let's head on back. His voice sliced through the tension, and Bobby, his face drained of color, nodded quickly. Yeah, let's get out of here. This is beyond us. Bobby whispered as he turned sharply and made for the door. I can read sometimes, just not currently, apparently. Bobby whispered as he turned sharply and oh yeah. As for me, I forced down my disgust and slept closer to the body. I crouched down to examine the body further. It had clearly been exposed to intense heat. The entire body charred beyond recognition, but the body was no longer contorted. Wow. Something was lying beneath the body's arm. I gently pushed it aside to get a better look, but the burnt skin crumbled off with a nauseating crack. Ah! The repulsiveness of the feeling nearly made me cry out. I bit my tongue and picked up the object. Is this a keyring? It looked familiar. That's right, it resembled the one William always carried. But why is it here? A second scream. A burnt body. A keyring. There was so much I didn't understand, but the sight of the body in my peripheral vision kept my thoughts scattered. I turned away and decided to head back to the others. The lounge was silent. Too many terrible things had happened that night. Everyone was at a loss for what to do. Shall I get the tea brewing? Colleen stood up, her expression kind. Good idea, I'll help, Abby chimed in. How many want a cup? Abby looked around the room, counting on her fingers. Colleen, Abby, the three girls, the Buchanans, Bobby, Grace, and myself, 10 people in total. If you exclude William, who was resting in the staff room, everyone was here. I don't like hot things, so no tea for me, Ruby the cat said. A faint chuckle passed through the group. Well then, 10 cups excluding the cat. Abby and Colleen headed off together towards the kitchen. We're not going to talk about how the cat speaks now. Okay, cool. What a night it had been. The screams, that twisted corpse, the Banshee. If I were a better detective, maybe I could piece together the puzzle and find the answer. But I had no idea. Eventually, Colleen and Abby returned and gave out the tea. The fragrant aroma from the cups seemed to ease our nerves. This is beyond us now. I recalled the words that Bobby said earlier. I agreed. What was happening here was beyond our control. Everyone returned to their rooms, locked their doors, and waited for the morning. It was the safest thing to do. I'm not sure who came up with the idea, but we all agreed it was the best course of action. I returned to my room, pulled the sheets over my head, and laid down on the bed. I was completely drained. As midnight drew near, I thought I heard a knock. But I stayed in bed, not moving an inch. I was done with mysteries, no more. I gave up and drifted off to sleep. Okay, if only it were a dream. An end. Alright, cool. I like how it's darkened out, but I want to see if we can figure out who the killer is better. Yes, we return to clean up. Stuff like that. Okay, what if I join his team, actually? Sure, sign me up. Sign me up. Yeehaw! Chase puffed out his chest with a grin. Now that's a deal. We better get moving. From then, things started moving fast. Chase took me to the town where the team was located. And from there, I was under his command. I began as an errand boy, but slowly made my way up the ranks. Eventually, I became Chase's right-hand man. 30 years of sleepless nights and giving it my all. Having steered the team to success, I thought it was time to unwind and visit the resort again to reward myself. Yeehaw! Here at last! My car fought through the blizzard to reach its destination. Oh. So now we are Chase? A few guests were already at the resort it seemed. Little did I know, this was just the beginning. It was going to be a long, harrowing night. Yeehaw! I'm the leader. Okay. So Chase is an alternate player character. Interesting. Wait, Bobby. Bobby is sus too. Right. William was also very keen on trying to cover this shit up. But everyone was a bit too interested in that, it seemed. Okay. So who does not have an alibi? So once again, let's look through all of these. Jonas is sus. Bobby is sus. I don't think it's Grace. Well, she could also not have an alibi. We were on the toilet. I'm gonna go with Jonas because he just disappeared from the story after this. Jonas. Thinking about it, Jonas showing up late was suspicious. He looked at me with a strange smile. Yo, when we heard that scream, I was right here, just saying. That may be true, but... He was right. But there was a hole in his story. I told him. Oh. Let's see. I mean, he could have an accomplice. He could be... The accomplice could be William. He could have tried... Well, no, because then why would he attack William? We could have the timeline of the crime wrong. We have the timeline of the crime wrong. The scream was not necessarily at the time of the actual crime. It's entirely possible that John was killed before the scream was heard. The scream actually came from Bobby. The Bobby. The scream could have come from the Bobby. The Banshee. That's right. The spirit of the wind, the Banshee. Think about it. It wouldn't be strange for a Banshee to scream like that. No, I don't think so, Jonas said with a serious expression. As far as I know, the Banshee is not a screamer. In fact, it seemed that it preferred to strike silently. Not to mention that it didn't sound like the wind. It seems I was completely off the mark. Okay. Could be Bobby, I suppose. Bobby. Bobby is the one that stood out to me. Bobby emerged from the game room just after the scream. He claimed he was going to fetch the key. If you can believe that, he also helped around the resort. He likely had ample chances to make a spare key if he wanted to. If we assume he had a spare key, Bobby could have locked the door after the crime, then pretended to go get the real key, which is when I crossed paths with him. Something like that. Afterward, he could have discarded the spare key somewhere, or he could still be carrying it. Are you accusing me without any evidence? Bobby glared at me with his voice dripping with menace. If I search you and find a spare key, I'll make you eat those words. If you want some, come get some. We fight? We fight. Oh. These stages suck. I need them in the game yesterday. Oh. Like, ironically, I need this stage in the game. I know it's low effort, but that's kind of what makes it good. I like it. Easy. Bobby was a tough opponent, but I somehow managed to take him down. His strength was no match for my brains. Oh, that's strange. No spare key! William mumbled quietly as he searched Bobby. He must have disposed of it somewhere. William gave me a puzzled look. Are you sure he's the culprit? Oh, well, the possibility that he was the culprit wasn't exactly zero, but then again, there was no evidence to prove it. Well, maybe, I said, scratching my head. An unbearable silence filled the room. Did I do something wrong? I had. I just beat up someone who was even innocent. The groom's gaze pierced through me like a sharp daggers. The case remained unsolved. Outside the resort, there was no sign of the storm ending. It felt like the night would stretch on forever. A long hard night. On end. Okay. So I guess we'll try Grace. I don't think that's the correct answer, but hey. Grace! Grace! I pointed an accusatory finger towards Grace. She slightly raised her eyes to mine. Even in moments like this, she remained calm. She had previously discussed the killer's intentions. She speculated that the murderer might be lying in wait, and that they could be trying to target someone else. She put herself in the killer's shoes. Of course, it didn't mean she killed someone herself, but I couldn't help but feel that if she were to kill someone, she would remain calm as a kitten. She possessed what seemed to be absolute nerves of steel. You're just joking, right? Grace replied effortlessly, without hesitation. Oh, yeah. I expected her to react even slightly, but she simply brushed it off, unfazed. There can only be one person left who could be the killer. It was me. I raised both of my hands and gestured to myself. I was alone when the scream echoed through the resort. I pretended to head to the bathroom, slipped out the window, and made my way to the crime scene through the back door. There, I killed John and slipped back in the same window. And I just don't remember this, I guess. That's how a master criminal orchestrates a crime. Of course, this is nothing more than a deduction based on logic. I said, my slime tight as I continued. But the one who's truly suspicious is... Oh. Still me. I raised both of my hands into the air. I was the one who did it. The narrator turned detective committing the crime. What an astonishing twist. I couldn't help but laugh at my own wit. But as I laughed, there was a sudden snap. The sound of something breaking. Quit joking around, folks are already jumpy enough. It was Chase. His eyes are bloodshot and veins bulged on his forehead. That snap I heard was the last piece of his patience. Takes a downright fool to get me all riled up, and I'm about to done with your nonsense. Then everyone charged at me with force. Oh, it's a fight! Oh shit. Ah, fuck. I'll give that to Sagat. Fucking hell, oh shit. How did it hit? Okay. Cool. Thanks, Marvel Rivals. We really needed to know. Ah, fuck. Oh, wait. Yeah. Goodbye. Wow. Rashid is using Rashid's fucking playstyle. I'm surprised. He's very fucking lanky, isn't he? Ah, shit. Ooh. I forgot that you can charge Tiger Shot, because I don't even own Sagat, but you know. Alright, cool. Absolute woman-led. Debbie is. No. Oh. Okay. Molly. Ooh. Good call. How many of these people are there? Oh, fuck. Alright. I forgot about driving packs existing at all. William? No, Colleen. Oh, the cat! I'm finding the cat! I'm finding the cat! Ah, shit. Right. Hell yeah. I emerged victorious despite the odds stacked against me. I killed everyone, even the cat. Gasping for breath, I looked down at the ground, at the group even, lying motionless on the floor. If the perpetrator was among them, they certainly wouldn't be striking again. The case was solved. A laugh trickled from my throat. Sheer strength. In the end, that's what solves everything. Even Sherlock Holmes had a fair bit of muscle to him. This was the way it was meant to be. As I bested my triumph, a voice suddenly called out, "Yoga!" Someone suddenly appeared in midair and lunged at me. Is Dawson the killer? Alright, before... Holy shit, that hurt. Anyway, fuck you. Y'all, I don't think this is supposed to be winnable. Somehow I just have the hunch. Oh. Not the mix. Oh. Fuck it, why not? Oh. Let's see, do I even have any fucking supers? Yes. Alright. Oh, fuck. Anyway, take this. Ah, fuck me. Ah, shit. This might be a waste of my resources, but I need to know. Oh. Fucking overhead. Oh. Oh shit. I didn't get it. Didn't get to wake up. No. Oh no. Okay. I didn't lose just yet. Oh, might as well have. Yeah. Oh. I was knocked to the ground before I could even grasp what was happening. The searing pain all blurred all my vision. Yoga. The voice called out again, and the being vanished. Who was that? I felt like I had seen them before, but before I remembered, my consciousness slipped away. Yoga to the head. Okay. If I go back to this, that's gonna do the same thing. So, in the suicide mission, we didn't really have an option. Perhaps somewhere around the second murder. I guess we'll check and then we'll cut it there if nothing comes of it. All of a sudden, another scream echoed through the air. Right. Okay, I follow behind them. What does that change? I heard and followed behind them. The lounge was silent. Too many terrible things had happened that night. Everyone was at a loss for what to do. Oh, we just go back to the fucking 3D bullshit. Okay. So yeah, there's 4 of the 15 possible endings. Perhaps you can figure out who the fuck the Banshee is. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I guess with that, I'll see you in the next one.